We have 5 out of 8 members present. There is 1 vacant seat. So we have Bob, Steph, Todd, Rick, and Mike, with Tim and Susan missing. So we have a quorum, so I'll call the meeting to order and start with the treasurer's report.
All right.
No, I'm not treasurer.
Okay, we got,
Oh, actually,
That's
second.
Tim's. the, oh, this was, so the most recent that Susan was able to get from the town bookkeeper was September 2nd, so this is a couple months old. However, I don't know that it's changed that much. The ending balance for the Hubbardson Preservation Trust account is $18,223.67, which is the same as it was last month. The open space donation account is $389.04, and that was the same as last month. And the Ryder Property donation account was at $4,125.32, which is as it was last month. So bottom line is nothing's changed since our last meeting.
Okay, the minutes, I went over the minutes, they look good to me. Anybody else got any comments on it?
They look good to me.
Yeah, did I bring a copy?
Bless you.
Thank you.
I didn't bring a copy, but there were 2 changes. Todd was not at the last meeting, and I had him in there.
Wow.
And
Snuck you in.
the hike that Tim had planned for October 4th, a couple of the trails I had wrong. So I corrected those, and those are the 2 edits that were done on those minutes. Otherwise, everything was, I didn't get any
Edits, I know.
edits, so.
Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes as edited, updated?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as updated.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So the minutes are approved as updated. Older business, since Tim's not here, no, we'll have Hubbardson Hikes, any walks that anybody is aware of that are
Yes.
coming up? Okay.
Tim told me that he is planning that hike that had to be canceled on October 4th because he got COVID. He's going to do that in November, date not yet determined.
November what day?
Not determined yet.
Oh, okay.
He,
And what walk was that?
the one he had planned for October 4th at Mount Jeff, starting out on the,
Behind,
not Gates Hill.
behind the chimney?
No,
Moose?
Old Cross?
I'm looking at the minutes now. Would
Moose tracks?
your minutes,
it starts at the same place, yeah. I haven't
Well,
sent
Mount
around the
Jeff is
amended
only
copy.
2 trails to go down, right?
No, there's,
There's only 2 starting points.
October
Oh, you
4th,
could go down Gates Hill and start down at the field.
Mill Pond
he
Trail,
was gonna start at Mill Pond.
Oh,
Canesto Brook Trail, behind the Chimney Trail, Moose Tracks Trail.
And that's wrong. He was gonna do the, what are we calling it now? The one that runs along the creek now,
Oh, yeah, headwaters,
headwaters, and
and then back up.
then back up, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be a healthy hike. That'll be
Yeah.
a good hour.
Parking's
plus
difficult
hike.
at Mill Pond.
And park on the road.
Yeah.
That's what we did when he had the hike
Okay.
a couple months
That's right.
ago.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much traffic there, so.
No,
And it's really, should be really slow, speed.
should be.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it should be.
Invoices, one is a placeholder till Mill Pond gets done, for the bridge. But the other one would have been ready if Tim, the treatment for the beech tree, oh, you do have it?
Yep.
Okay.
Susan handed me all this stuff as she was walking out the door. So, he submitted the invoices, used the new town forms. He went on the website and got the expense report form. And the totals came to $214.50. And that was below what we had approved. I think we totaled $250, something like that, at our last meeting. So all we need to decide is where we're gonna get this money to pay him back. Susan's suggestion was we get it out of the donation account and not the rider account.
Get it from
Or
the rider account?
No, the
No,
donation.
donation account and not the rider account.
Is there that much money in there?
There is,
I thought that was in, oh, yeah, there was hundreds of dollars in there.
yeah, well, the donation account has $389 in it.
So that'll almost deplete that.
Yeah,
But that's okay.
I mean, it's there for whatever.
Okay.
And that was just her opinion. We can decide otherwise. Her thinking was we ought to save the rider money, which is $4,000 for bigger projects that we might want to do on Mount Jeff.
Okay,
So,
it's fine with me.
Was the rider account, it's like targeted, does it have restrictions on it, what it can be used for?
it can only be used at Mount Jeff, but otherwise,
Oh, okay.
It was-
Well, that's a
it was to be
pretty
used,
important caveat. Yeah.
yeah, it was to be used
Okay.
for maintenance and anything that we needed for Mount Jeff. That was the original intent by Jassy and crew when the money was provided was to try to find a way to reimburse it somehow so that there'd always be that amount and roll it over. That hasn't happened. So we've used, I don't know, a couple $1,000s of it over the last few years.
What was the original source of the funding? Rider?
The riders, it was family.
And they just made a donation
They made
and
a donation.
said only at Mount Jeff and
Yep.
away we go? Okay.
Probably before, it may even been before Malone was established.
All right, do I hear a motion for, take the money from the donation account?
So moved.
Second?
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Land Priority Group, we will get this started back up in November. The house project has had its lingering effects relative to getting stuff done at home that weren't done. The Gates Foundation area, that's just kept in there as a placeholder. Hopefully in the spring we can start to formulate some plans for that. Need to do something for the sign that we had talked about, and for there was originally going to be a plaque out at Dottie Rock, and then it was decided to have a little bit more elaborate information. So we're going to take like excerpts from what was said at the opening ceremony for the trail. So I'll probably get that from Jassy, so I'll try and elaborate on that. If anybody else has got words that they'd like to see in there, they can send them along. So we'll get the words and then we'll figure out how to do a sign. Trail maintenance projects. Some of these are going to be going into a year. Signs, we can talk about that one.
Yeah, I talked to Katie, and she said that as long as I get all, or as long as we get all the wood to her and
Screws, probably.
screws, yeah, wooden screws, then she'll take, and paint, we have to get her paint too. And I forgot what type of wood that Tim
So
told us to get, so I'll just email Tim, find out.
Anybody know what that was, or where he got it? All right,
Well, he got it for his back deck, so it's.
Yeah, it was left over. He had leftover in his garage.
Yeah.
But it was a specific wood that he
Yeah.
said
Is it
we should
cedar?
get.
Is it cedar?
Don't remember. I don't think so, but I don't remember.
Well, why don't, this doesn't require an official vote, I don't think, so
No.
why don't you contact Tim, and then we'll figure that out so we can get,
Yeah, because he'll know what
Katie.
type of paint I should get too.
yeah.
Okay.
I guess the only thing we might need would be an okay to purchase that, so if we do get that information shortly, we don't have to wait till the next meeting to approve. So we could do something like what we just did for the treatment for the beech tree, set a limit, and how many signs are there?
Probably 4, right? One at the head
Yeah.
of each trail.
Headwater and Moose Track, right?
Yeah, so
That's it.
Well,
Two.
yeah, because the other trails are coming, for at Malone Road, that's coming out of grant money for the
Yes.
signs for
Yeah.
that. So it's just those 4 signs.
Yeah.
Paint and,
screws.
so I don't know, I would say it all ought to cost definitely, I don't know, less than $150 max.
I would
Yeah.
do.
The stainless steel screws would cost maybe $50 or $20 or something like that. Yeah, $20 for that amount of screws, but. So do I hear, somebody want to make a motion to cover, that we can cover the cost up to $150 for sign materials?
I'll move that.
Second?
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Good, then we ought to be able to get that going with that. All right. Get that. Mill Pond Bridge. Maybe we'll try and get that done before the walk. That would be good to get done before the walk, but we can talk to Tim when the walk's gonna be in, because it shouldn't be a big project to get that bridge in there.
What are we talking about we need to do to it at this point? Just redeck it?
Was that, Rick?
What do we need to do to it? Just new deck?
I think the whole thing has to be replaced. I mean,
Yeah,
some of, maybe some of the underlying.
we could resurface like we did over the Canesto, but that had really solid telephone pole timbers in it. I'm not sure what the timbers are like underneath that bridge.
And this
So it-
seems like it needs to be extended.
A little bit
Oh,
further
yeah.
than it
Yeah.
is.
That's true.
So it'd probably be
Because of erosion.
the girders and the decking for that, so. But it doesn't need, it's so low, it doesn't need rails or anything like that. The next one would have been a Tim thing, to see how he's doing with the goat blazing to mark that scout trail. So, and we'll leave that till the next one. That's not urgent at the moment anyway.
So that's at Malone,
Yeah.
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 right? Okay.
Yeah. The, any update on the sand pit development proposal? I have drafted something for Nate, because I was gonna bug him on, you didn't hear much back from, we spent a little bit of time, the committee spent a little bit of time coming up with what seemed like it was a pretty reasonable way to get a substantial amount of tax revenue, somewhere in the $300,000 to $500,000 range, and had little to no impact on the town resources, so, as well as one other major aspect, it would be probably a source of roughly 100 jobs that could be locally found. I mean, there's a lot of people that work in those facilities, between food services and human services and recreation, et cetera, so.
So,
But at any rate, so I've got something I was gonna send to him, but I got it all drafted. Go ahead, Rick.
I was gonna say, send a copy to Christopher as well.
Two.
Christopher,
Chris
Oh,
Monroe.
yeah,
so the Niche provided their report, and they made a presentation to the planning board on October 16th, and it's on the video, so it's worth taking a look at.
Okay,
Because she made the presentation, which was pretty much what she's been presenting at the last two meetings with a few little changes and everything, but pretty much the presentation was pretty much what you saw at the public forum thing, the three big general categories that it would fall into, and then how that would look on the map, so to speak. They went into a little bit more about how the zoning changes could be made. One method would be the overlay, which is basically you've got existing zoning regulations, and a zoning overlay would be additional zoning regulations added on to those, on top of them, so to speak.
would that supersede the existing ones?
No,
No?
no.
Okay.
They could further restrict. So a good example would be right now it's zoned for residential. And our standard residential thing in town is what, 80,000 square feet and for a residential lot. So if the town decided they wanted to make more dense housing, residential there, the overlay would then need to restrict that 80,000 and say, we can build not more than X number of residences in, kind of that cul-de-sac thing you saw in
Okay.
the presentation. That's just an example. But they can't, an overlay would not change the existing restrictions.
Okay.
The other way to go you can actually change those restrictions by, either thing is going to get voted by town.
Okay.
So there were questions about that in that video, which were kind of interesting. That was really the only thing that we don't really.
So no
know.
discussion of our recommendation
No,
never
and they're not
appeared,
at that point yet. They're talking about, which they want to pick one of those three categories: conservation and or recreation part of it, and residential, or a mixture of commercial and residential, or industrial and residential.
Would our recommendation fit either of any of
It would
those?
fit the middle one, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
So if the map, I don't know if you remember, the middle, the way they drew it out on the map of the properties would be a access in from Route 68, and the first area there would be for the the whatever commercial, which that would be the nursing home thing,
Mhm.
or solar park or whatever, and then the rest of it would be residential and conservation and that kind of thing. And with your idea, you were suggesting in there that you could have a walking park and
Yeah,
that kind of thing, so that would be added to that. So that would be one of those three general categories. That's what that would fall into. So the planning board heard the presentation, asked a bunch of questions. The town planner, Alec, was there, and he didn't really have anything to add other than answering a couple of the questions about what could be done legally. They're well aware of the conservation and aquifer restrictions that are on the property. The only landowner that's been talking to the town, Nate, is just the original guy. Justin is his name. The other landowners, Nate says one of the other landowners was talking to him, and he hadn't even heard that was all going on over there, so. So that's where it is right now, so now it's in the planning board's hands.
Okay,
They gotta look at that, they've gotta make some recommend to the select board, figure out what they need to do whatever it is in terms of those categories, what they need to do to the zoning regulations, whether they use an overlay or whether they just try to change what's in there.
okay.
And so now would be a good time to go to the next planning board. They didn't make any decisions or anything on that,
Okay,
at least I didn't see the very end of it because I had to get somewhere else, but I don't think they were making any decisions that night.
Okay.
Because they just saw the information.
so niche is done.
Niche will help going forward, depending on what the planning board decides, whichever one of those things decide, will help them write the zoning laws and provide,
Okay, so there's still some funds left on the grant.
yeah, that money didn't come out at all, but yeah, they're gonna be involved in whatever decision the planning board makes. I'm not sure what our town process is. If the planning board makes a recommendation, do they go to first to the select board and have the select board say yay or nay, ask questions, or does it just go to a town meeting?
Okay,
There will be, once they make their decisions on which one of those categories they want to choose, then I think there'll be an opportunity for public input again. Might just be, hey, we're having this announced that we're going to be talking about this at the planning board meeting, so if you're interested in coming in and, but my suggestion would be, don't even wait for that, just send them the stuff. And
okay,
then talk to Chris
yeah,
about coming into the planning board and presenting in more detail.
yeah. Yeah, because we have, Tim even had that conceptual sketch of
Yeah,
where that stuff would kind of
Yeah,
fit
that was
within the
good.
context, geographical context of the property. I mean, it seems like there's so many pluses to that, because those kind of facilities have trails, so that would blend in with wanting to do something, could link up to the existing trail there and stuff like that, so.
I mean, Nate theoretically has a copy of what we sent him,
Okay,
because it was sent to Nitch, and he's copied on everything, so.
okay. All right,
So a couple of comments on that.
Yeah.
Number one, will there be a public hearing? I'm asking that somewhat rhetorically, but you're asking about the process. And I think something like that, even if it's not required, probably somebody, either the planning board, us, the TA, would probably suggest that there be a public hearing.
Well, planning
suggest
board
that
then-
to whom, Nate?
Well, once again, it's sort of a rhetorical question.
Well, the planning board is a public meeting, so if.
Yes, but within the planning board, we open a public hearing on
Yeah.
matters that demand it.
I guess I got the impression, and there wasn't anything stated specifically, but the way Christopher was talking, there would be, they would need to run it by the public, because they don't
Okay.
want to get to town meeting
Right.
and have people say, well, what about,
Okay, yeah,
The-
yeah.
The second question, and once again, this is somewhat rhetorical, but Niche, did they, and I'm trying to remember, because I went to the one public meeting when they gave that first presentation, but the limits to this thing, how did they determine that, and are they reviewing that? Because my understanding was it sort of came from Nate, and have they been tasked with, what are the limits and why the limits are where they are?
the limits,
What kind of limits are you talking about?
yeah.
The area that's being considered, where it's outlined around, some of it comes out to Route 68, and then it, avoids some properties and includes others. How was that determined? And is Niche doing anything to, usually you would look at alternatives. You know, who developed the limits and what are the other alternatives and why they may or may not make sense?
So the area was determined by the owners of the sand pits with their properties. So there was 6 or 8 owners of properties. Justin has bought a couple of 3 of them now that I know of. I was talking to somebody about buying a 4th. So he's got a big area, but the area they started with was all the area that was part of one of the sand pits.
What's the definition of the sand pits properties?
The people that
I
own
mean,
the property.
because there's other lands adjacent to that, so what would be considered, any property that extracted material out of
Yeah.
there? Okay.
Yeah. And the reason they picked that was, Niche didn't pick it. It was just, here's this open land.
Right.
and-
But as our consultant, it seems like we should look at, are there some alternatives? You know, because it looks like the only one that will benefit is, I forget the name of
Justin?
what's the last name with that?
I don't remember.
Okay. I think we're talking the same, you
Yeah.
know. Do others have the opportunity to petition to include their property?
Sure.
Okay,
They're private owners. They can,
right.
so they can do whatever they want with their property.
So has that been put out there, I guess?
Well, one of the owners came to Nate and had no clue, hadn't even heard this was going on.
Right, well, that's the point. That's
Yeah.
kind of, I would think that's a little dangerous if an abutting property owner doesn't know about it.
Right now, the only discussions that Niche is looking at for those 3 things are the properties that Justin owns.
Oh, okay, that,
The other owners-
and the town owns.
And, well, the only thing the town owns is the access from Pitcherville.
Well, but that was included.
Yes.
Yeah, oh,
within
yes,
that.
yes,
Yeah.
that's
That
included.
was.
Okay,
that
so
was
the
road
the one owner, that's where I think someone, and I'm not saying open space, but someone's gotta have an answer to the general question of why were the initial limits proposed the way they were? And
Because
the owner came forward.
the owner came to the town.
Okay, if that's
He
the
came-
answer and
He
we're,
came to
happy.
town and said, I bought this land, I bought this other lot, I'm looking at buying a
more,
couple more. What can I do there and what can't I?
Mhm.
That's basically, and Nate said, well, you know, it's residential zoned.
Mhm.
Here's the zoning laws we have. And he took the opportunity to look at that and say, well, we don't want this guy just building anything.
anything. Mhm.
Just because it falls within in the current zoning regulations. So he was able to get the $50,000 grant
Right.
to hire the consultant.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
that's how they looked at it. When they looked at it, they looked at all the area, including the other landowners, just because they're abutting,
Mhm.
and there's streams going through one of them, and there's a, DCR has the conservation area up at the north end of that, and conservation land, or land they own. So they took a look at it, at that whole area, from a standpoint of, you know, what are the restrictions
Sure.
for building on
Mhm.
those properties? But
And
they-
there's the aquifer.
but as
sure.
far as those 3
The wetlands.
categories they've selected, they only apply to the land that's owned by Justin right now.
Okay, thank you. That pretty much matches what I remember.
Yeah.
But I haven't gone to any of the subsequent meetings where this was
There
reviewed.
haven't been any public meetings other than that.
Well, the planning board,
Was just October 16th.
right.
The other meetings with Niche were all,
Oh, okay, here's a question. At that public forum meeting they had. The drive was revenue for the town, the number one thing. I mean, there were other things too, housing, et cetera. But the biggest problem the town faces is financial.
Mhm.
And so that's the number one thing that hopefully this would turn out to have, is a substantial financial benefit to the town. Within the context of those three different categories, did Niche come up with any estimates of what these things could financially bring to the town?
No, not really, not anything specific.
Given what was stated at the forum, that was pretty clear
Yeah,
that was the need, and I would think that they probably should have done estimates. Well, this is likely to bring in this amount of net gain to the revenue or something. I mean, that's why that particular
Yeah.
proposal that we talked about looked so very positive. Had
I think maybe.
minimal to no impact to town resources,
Mhm.
and yet somewhere in the range of $300,000 to $500,000 of tax revenue.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So I'm guessing that it's pretty tough to come up with something like that when you don't know what commercial development is gonna happen, whether, how many houses are gonna be put in, that kind of thing, right? How do you come up with an estimate for, you could if it was all
Well,
residential.
you could
you
come up
state
with a couple straw
assumptions.
man examples, just like what we did. I mean, we came up with something, and through that information that I found that I scratched off the web, that literally was the information from the tax assessor from the town of Duxbury.
So the niche didn't specify what any commercial development would
Okay.
be. You could come up with an estimate if it was all housing,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Just off, we know what property's worth in Hubbardston now.
okay.
But past that, unless you knew, I mean, is it gonna be a lot of small businesses? Is it gonna be an industrial park?
Yep.
That kind of thing.
Okay. A part of my note to Nate, and I know, Rick, you said to bug him earlier, but I drafted the thing, but I figured I'd wait till, I didn't send it out, and it was just yesterday they got that done. So I figured I'd wait till the meeting. But any more news from Nate on
I
that?
haven't heard anything.
All right, well, I'll send him, I'll bug him then on the
Yeah.
next one then.
I mean, it probably is worth maybe just having a, 15-minute meeting with him,
Yeah,
sitting down and say,
yeah,
I don't know that he's done it. He told me, I can't remember which Tuesday it was, but I talked to him on a Monday. He said, well, when I get back, this was after the first church thing or something like
Yep.
that. He said, when I get into the office on
Okay.
Tuesday, I'll work on that.
okay,
That's the last I heard.
okay.
So that was, what, 3 weeks ago? Maybe more. So I don't know. Maybe you already sent it out.
Yeah. The DCF Forest Management Plan, I'll probably just drop that off of there. That's probably in a black hole somewhere.
Is it worth, Tim submitted that from us?
Yeah. Oh, has he heard anything? He hadn't heard anything?
No, I know he hasn't, but it might be worth him dropping
Okay.
a dime and,
Yeah, I'll check with Tim on that.
and
And that's just a,
ask him.
yeah, that's just a logistical thing. The OHRV business, four-wheelers and whatnot, we've had several discussions relative to two main ways to address the issue, and it's a notable issue. We can see it at our end of town, and I know there's stuff over off of Mount Jeff Road probably, where they're coming in maybe off of Old Cross or something. And then they're doing a little bit at Malone Road, get called up there because somebody was doing wheelies in the parking lot.
Yeah,
How about this for a way to approach it? The two different vantage points that we talked about is deterrence and public outreach. How about if we do a couple little subgroups? I know Tim has done some research on deterrence, and I think there's some reasonable things that could be done that wouldn't cost that much money, and maybe we could get money from DCR to help with this, or whoever the responsible party is. I don't know if the people that are in charge of, who's in charge of Malone Road?
North County.
North County, if North County's got any funding. The kind of stuff that Tim had talked about relative to wood-faced steel girders or whatnot, I mean, that would be a significant deterrence. My guess is that's also something that would cost quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
The kind of deterrence that DCI uses, just steel beams, or there's different other types of things, would be a lot less money, but they're not very attractive for Malone Road. So if I took this little group, subgroup of 2 or 3 people out of our committee to look at the different deterrence things, and some are definitely appropriate for other areas in town, like the entrance to Copper Mine Trail. I mean, that doesn't have to look good. There's just a regular steel gate there. You could use, that's one of the main entrance points that the four-wheelers use for that. There's the stuff going on behind your place, Rick, up on the Canesto area.
Yeah.
So, just some steel structures, typical DCR steel structures maybe could be used in a location like that, and that would be a lot less money than what we potentially might want to do at Malone Road. So
Those structures, would they fit a snowmobile? Like snowmobiles need to be able to fit through whatever it is, but not four-wheelers, right? I don't know, some snowmobiles might be just almost as wide as a four-wheeler,
I don't know.
Good question.
in case we ever get snow again. And the snowmobile clubs do a lot of work in trails.
Well, I think Tim
well,
came
they
up
don't
with
do a
a,
lot of work on our trails.
Well, yeah,
Tim
that's-
Tim came up with a dimension for, four-wheel ATVs.
But anyway, not to get into nits and grits on that, but that's exactly the kind of thing that this group could focus on. And then the public outreach could be, we're going to do Facebook, how are we going to get this spread throughout the town, contact individuals.
I think the signage was one of the things
Signage,
for
yep, that would be another thing.
outreach.
Public outreach.
And so the public outreach could talk about signs and where to get signs and what the signs would say, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know, what do you think about that idea? So we don't take a lot of time in a meeting. Those little subgroups could come up with what seems like the best solutions, and then at the meeting, then we could just deal with the output of those 2 groups. Thoughts?
Todd and I will take the communication, the public outreach. No, I had to get them back engaged here.
Okay,
Yeah.
could do that.
I was being facetious, but
Yeah, having
if somebody
is a good idea.
volunteers, it sounds like Tim is already leading
Yeah, I'd like to be on the
on the
I'd like to
deterrence
be on
one
the
with
deterrent
physical,
one, so yeah, maybe
physical
Tim-
deterrence.
So anybody interested in the outreach one?
Yeah, I
Todd?
can do it.
Yeah, then you just
And
said
because I opened my mouth, Todd, if you accept
Sure.
some
I could be
help.
on that one.
that. And
Okay.
Susan? Yeah, that would be plenty.
You
You
can't
don't want
vote
any more
Susan
than
on
that.
one without her input.
Well, Rick could.
And I would.
I think we only need 2 or 3, and then we'd come
Well-
back to the full committee.
Yeah.
You know, so, because we don't want to tie up too many people.
Oh, no.
At least initially.
2 or 3, I mean,
Okay.
that's like the little.
Well, we got
So
on the outreach.
So we got 3 for the outreach thing. I'd like to be on the deterrent one.
Well, there's you and Tim.
Okay.
So, I mean, the Facebook thing is easy. You call Katie Young. or
Well, we got to
or
figure
Mel.
out what we want to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah.
Sure.
But that part's easy. It's signage you have to,
Mhm.
you know, do for the outreach. I don't know, what else could you do for outreach?
Well, that's part of our plan,
Yeah.
when we get together to meet, we'll talk about what
Yeah.
else.
All right.
That's right.
Sounds good. Because it's been on the table, but not going very far. But if we had a couple little
Yeah.
groups, I think it could go somewhere. The Scout Trail Harding, what was the time frame on the availability of the grant money?
Next year,
Yeah, when next year? Do you know?
end of the year.
End of the year next
Yeah.
year?
I still haven't got the paperwork from Mark from them. I gotta.
Okay, so I think instead of trying to get that, rush through that this year, again, just relative to the work that we've been
Yeah.
doing, and I want to do it in concert, because I like to get this, a larger machine to get that, and Steph and I want to
Yeah.
work on our property, so if we do it in concert when we do work on our property, then the cost for renting that larger machine, which would definitely expedite getting it done in a very timely fashion, like with few days, 3 or 4 days, would be a much better approach. All right. But so if we have till next year, then
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah, definitely.
makes that much more
Yeah.
feasible.
I'm not even sure how much is left. Mark's, last I talked to him, which has been a month,
Yeah.
but he's working on signs for updating the signs from Malone, so.
Relative to, new business, that walk was held with Felicia and Danny from DCR, Felicia Bakai and Danny Almeida from DCR, and Tim and Steph went on that, so Steph can comment on how that went. So.
The walk went great. Tim led the walk. We went down behind the chimney. No, we went down the new trail.
Well, behind
Moose
the chimney to
Tracks.
start
Yeah,
with for a little
to
bit.
Moose Tracks, and we came up and did the shortcut loop so that we
The
came up
Headwater
and did
Trail.
the Headwaters Trail.
Headwaters to the,
And then just
Mississippi.
came up through the field. But they just wanted to see anything that was different from the last time they came.
Oh, yeah.
Which happened to be, I think, the bench cut, the bridge, the new trail, both new trails, and then Tim gave them a description of what we had done up at the top of Mount Jeff and what the plan was
oh,
in
the bench
future.
cut on Gates Hill. Oh, yeah.
So, but other
They
than
were
that,
happy?
they were happy with everything, yep.
Yeah.
They had no
Great.
issues with anything.
All right, I'm done. Any other business that anyone else has?
I can give an update on it was actually both Hidden Meadow and Henry's Grove, the hike that we did take. Small group, it might have been both a Friday and evening. We had to kind of rush because people wanted to get down to the Ware River, the east branch of the Ware River. We did that. We did go, and a couple of people didn't do the larger hike, but they came to see the gentian flowers. And how were they, Rick?
They were fabulous.
Okay.
Yeah, they were
And we
fabulous.
did
I
find,
learned a lot.
we found more gentians. They were right before, matter of fact, I went back a couple days later, we were doing like a bio blitz, and they were gone. The
Wow.
gentians down. And they're the rare ones. They're on the MESA, Massachusetts Endangered Species Act. They're the narrow-leaf gentians, and that was confirmed with a state botanist.
Wow.
So,
That's cool.
yeah, it was kind of cool. But
And where were those?
they're down at the end of the Henry's Grove Trail that terminates at the East Branch of the Ware River off of Lombard Road.
Mm-hmm.
Would just anybody notice them, or something that you were like, whoa?
Well, we didn't just notice them then. I've been tracking them for several years.
Okay.
So I knew they were there. And I knew they were at the tail end of their bloom, and we just barely found some.
Wow.
I've been there a few times. Is that where the overlook is on the knoll?
Yeah,
Overlooking the
yes,
river?
there's a bench there now.
Okay.
It was put in 3-4 years
Yeah.
ago.
Okay,
That's
but
where it
it's
is.
up in that area there.
Do you have any
It's-
pictures of them?
Yes, yeah.
Does he have pictures?
We'll go,
Even
yeah.
I have pictures.
Okay.
Yeah.
See them after?
Yeah, I'll show them to you afterwards, sure.
They're neat flowers, they're, really are.
Yeah. And then the other thing I was gonna mention is we have our new town hall. There'll probably be some sort of landscape architect plan, and I would recommend that we state in the construction contract, and the designer needs to know invasive species, no non-native, figure out how to do any landscaping with native species.
Good point.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
Not firebush,
Not burning bush,
burning bush.
not
lawns.
barberry, not, where's the other ornamentals that I'm finding all over the place, and we're eradicating them as best we can.
and then somebody's coming in and just planting them.
Right. Well,
The
and what,
birds do it.
then there's the knotweed. Now, that's not being planted by anyone, but it's very invasive, and we should probably identify areas on public property right by the center school and the senior center. There's a big bunch of it there, and maybe I'll try and do, like, when I say an eradication plan, this is where the stuff is on our town public property, and, you know, prioritize it.
Yeah, no, that would be great. That linked into, that was one of the things on our
Yeah.
now 10-year plan.
Yeah.
Oh, it was, oh, okay, I should have read that more.
Educating the public on invasive species.
So you're signing up to do that?
I guess I did say that. Yes,
That's what I wrote down, I was
Yeah.
word for word.
yeah, I'm already doing it, so it, you know, it doesn't
Yeah.
take a lot more effort. I will just I will identify places and maybe try to prioritize them by location and species.
Yeah, and some of those are up at Mount Jeff, but
Which,
well, then that.
honeysuckle,
Yeah.
Bittersweet.
the bittersweet, yeah, those are tough because they're so pervasive.
Yeah.
Well, the birds strip.
Right, exactly. And why I'm bringing this up is that I saw something was going to be planted with the new patio or deck or whatever we're calling it at the senior center, and in the name it said Japanese something, and I'm sure it's a beautiful whatever it is. I don't know if that was actually done, but maybe I'll check with Claudia and find out. And, you know, that's like a lesson learned. That's why I said we should
Yeah.
be very specific about this project here, because I know things are gonna change
Yeah.
around here. And that's it, Bob.
What about lawns?
Put solar panels on them. That's what one guy said to do. Lawns. You know, I mean, he was being both facetious and serious, that we have a lot of place where solar could be captured, and right now, you know, it's homogeneous, you know, grass that isn't particularly wildlife friendly or helpful.
It's not native also.
We have some native grasses, don't we? Blue
Well-
stem? Not in people's main yards.
Switchgrass?
But not in the form of a lawn, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of movement to abandon the lawn concept.
Yeah.
I've already done
I'd
it.
have, like-
I have a front area that's now meadow. I have milkweeds, I'm not mowing it, so I've got milkweeds, and that's probably the main one that I look after.
We have that too.
Yeah,
And I love it, but some people think it's an eyesore.
Well,
We've got something I think might be invasive that's getting out of control over there. I think Tim said it was tumbleweed, is that what he said?
I don't remember that being the exact name, but it was something like that. It's a little purple, like burst
oh,
of
yeah.
flower in that
Yeah,
thing.
I've got a ton
I
of
was
that.
like, oh, this is beautiful. And Tim said, that's not good.
The cedar waxwings love it, though.
Oh. I didn't see that. But it
Oh,
just
the
grows
cedar
out there.
waxwings
It
like
can
that?
grow in
Yeah.
any.
they're not
dry as
asters.
No, it's,
No, it's not a.
Quite
it's
small.
It
It's
gets to be
chokeweed.
tall,
Is
it
it
grows
chokeweed?
everywhere.
No.
It's got a
Something
fine leaf to it,
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Well, Tim knows. so.
Yeah.
whatever. All right, anything else?
yeah, did anybody get a
Oh,
email from Friends of Hubbardston?
Yeah, I meant to
did.
say
I
that.
did.
Yeah, it looked good.
Thank you.
So, that,
Go ahead, Rick.
the list that we started back at the Taste of Hubbardston, I
Mhm.
took all those names. I took some names that everybody here, obviously, and then people like the Bratcos and the Robinsons and Jesse Vanoit, the Scout Troop guy, and there's a couple others that are now on that list.
Oh, good.
And I've set up an email address, as you saw, so it's not coming from individuals or anything, so I'm not deluged with it, but I will be. But it's just a Gmail address, the account that I set up. And Tim has collected names of people that come on hikes. So I got to get that from him. I asked him for it when I sent that letter out to add those to the list. And the Hanses, I sent it to them, even though they don't live in Hubbardston, but they walk all the time, in
Oh,
Hubbardston.
yeah.
So,
good.
so in addition to that, though, if, when you see an event going on regionally or locally, I get emails from, I get Todd Shedder's the Ware River thing, I looked at theirs, and there wasn't anything in November. But I looked at theirs, I looked at Mass Woods, and then Land Trust and somebody else, DCR, what events they were having. But if you hear of an event, it doesn't have to be in Hubbardston or even in the next town over, it could be in the region. I can add it to that. And I don't have any plans on how often I'm gonna do it. If there's nothing to say, I don't wanna just be
Mhm.
sending people junk mail.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so if any of you guys see some, I know you're always, I went back to look at some of the stuff you had sent out before, and it was all outdated in terms of the date, but,
Yep.
so when you see something, say something,
Okay.
just let me know. And I hope that was all right to do that.
That was
I
great.
didn't ask permission, but I just,
Well, we've been talking about it for years now,
yeah.
so that was
well,
good that you
and
did it.
The underlying reason, one of the reasons was, I just think it's good to keep our name out front, especially now that, the Dottie Rock was such a big thing. It was really well publicized in town, but we're gonna need help with some of the projects going forward.
Yeah, keep that momentum from Dottie Rock, not
Yeah.
lose it, sure.
So when we have a cleanup, trail cleanup in the spring, whatever it might be, when we had the Big Malone cleanup over there that I skipped town for. Yeah, those are the kind of things that'd be great to get other people out there.
Oh, yeah. Did somebody, brush out Malone Road? Malone Field? Someone asked me.
Yeah.
It had been brush hogged, and someone asked me who did it, and I didn't know it had been brush hogged, but I was,
Really?
I figured you did it.
No, I think it might have been Tim that asked, and it must have been Tim.
What was that, Brush Hog Malone?
Someone brush hog Malone, like what we had done.
Really?
Somebody did that
That was,
recently.
that was Mark.
Oh,
He has,
brush cutter?
when did I see him? Oh, when we had a notice, Mel Green sent around a notice. It's somebody had done wheelies in the parking
Yeah.
lot, and there was a tree down, and the tree was blocking the trail and stuff like that. So I went up there. Wasn't doing anything at the time, so I went up there within, I don't know, a half hour. And the wheelies were old, and they weren't really that disruptive, and there was a place to park over near the trail entrance, so that wasn't too bad. And Tim went up there with me to maybe address the tree that was down. And the short answer on the tree, walked all the way to the end of the trail, and there was no tree down. So I don't know what the story is with the tree down, unless it was something that was like a 3 or 4 inch tree and somebody was able to just pull it off the side, but I didn't even notice anything down.
There was Todd's tree, Widowmaker,
Yeah,
and
Tim.
then Tim and Deb took care of that.
Yeah, that was a
There
different.
is a tree down on, at least there was, a week or two ago, on the North Ridge Loop off
No.
the Dottie Rock Trail.
So not part of the new trail.
No,
Oh,
Okay.
but I don't know if that's what was
maybe that's
That
what
might
we
have
were
been it,
talking
yeah.
about. I don't know. We didn't walk the whole thing because it was brought up to Mel within the context of the new trail, but they might have been talking about that. So.
Yeah.
Probably not, I
At
think.
any rate, back to Mark. Mark happened to just show up with Ruby, and so he and I got to talking, and he said he got himself a new toy, and the new toy was a DR brush cutter.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So that's probably, and he said he was going up there soon to do some work. But he was only gonna do, so if there could be a little bit more work done on there, he was gonna work on the trail side and not the, right, if you go into the parking lot, not the stuff that's right straight ahead near the wildflower garden and stuff like that. He
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
gonna touch that,
Yeah.
so that's who it did that.
So what kind of equipment is that? You're talking about it?
That he got?
Yeah.
What,
It's
oh,
expensive.
this is a
what does it
tractor?
look like? It's a,
Yeah,
It's a hand, it's self-powered, but
yeah,
it's by
It's
hands.
it's got probably a 3-foot head
Yeah,
on it, big circular blade, and it's on wheels, but it's a,
kind of like a
so
snowblower where
it's a
you can
front,
pull the
it's a
thing.
front mower type thing that you walk behind.
That must have taken him several hours to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, at a
I mean, it
3-foot
took us-
cutting width, yeah.
It took us a while to cut it with the tractors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think.
yeah.
I did, on the thing about when Mark had asked Travis about, with the asphalt grindings, recycled asphalt, would that work in the parking lot? And Travis said, no, it wouldn't help for that kind of thing. And he suggested talking to the police department about the ATV use and that, is it worth having just saying, look, can you guys, I mean, have you ever seen a patrol car up there just driving up Malone Road and making a loop around? And, I don't see them on Route Road.
I don't see him on Mount Jeff either.
Right, so, I mean,
I don't want to see him on Lombard Road.
well, you would if they were tearing up your land.
Yeah.
I take care of that.
So, I'm just
You
saying,
can put obstructions on your own land
yeah,
if they're making trails and stuff.
Yeah, maybe that could be part of the public outreach that we talk about.
yeah.
Reaching out to the,
All right, next meeting? How about, next meeting happens to be Thanksgiving. How about December 4th? That's a Thursday.
I think that'll work for me.
I'm sure it'll work for me, too.
Not Thanksgiving, though. Unless, this would be a nice table to have a meal at.
Should be fine for me.
Yeah,
Look good?
no doctor's
All right,
appointments.
December 4th.
Great.
Okay.
Right, oh, and you're at the-
All right. Do I hear a...
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.